As we continue our coverage of Donald Trump's historic corruption vis-a-vis the crypto dinner that he recently hosted for the top 220 purchasers of his cryptocurrency bullshit meme coin, the plot thickens and we're learning disturbing new details. But on top of it, one of the biggest MAGA-friendly hosts on live TV visibly died inside as some of those new details emerged, leaving him struggling on air to cope with just how corrupt his preferred political candidate is. It's delicious. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to play. I want to make sure the audio is right on this. And it's good. We're good. We have several clips to play here, but I want to start with Joe Kernan of CNBC. Joe Kernan is somebody we've talked about quite a bit. CNBC is a relatively conservative, like financial analyst network, right? They cover the stock markets, they cover finances, and obviously to the extent that it relates to politics, they cover that as well. Markets, the economy, fiscal policy. Joe Kernan is, as in his own way, as diehard a MAGA Fox News host as you would find on any other network, right? I mean, he would fit right in at Fox. And watching him struggle to cope with Trump's corruption is just, it's glorious. So we're going to play this clip and unpack it together.
It's not, I'm using the word suboptimal a lot, so this is not ideal. This is, but then again, it kind of rhymes with influence peddling. And, you know, Hunter's art, he hasn't sold a single painting since his father left office. He sold 27 before. That was a clear example. You buy this art, you're going to get access.
This is 10,000 times worse. Again, I just want to say this. We'll play the rest of the clip because you can hear almost like a pin drop in the room, because even Kernan's co-hosts are like, bro, this is stupid. This is a dumb, weak comparison. And Kernan himself is about to recognize it. I just want to say, anytime you hear a conservative or a Trump supporter talk about Hunter Biden in the context of Trump's corruption, they have no credibility on this issue. Hunter Biden did try to benefit from his father's name. That's nepotism, and nepotism is gross. It's also very common. If you want to take a principled stance to nepotism, fair enough. But what Hunter Biden did was not unusual in the sort of beltway nepotism, people trying to cash in on their parents' name. What Republicans were never able to prove, never, otherwise they would have impeached them because they had the majority and they had the votes to do it, was that President Biden, the actual public official, Joe Biden, aided and abetted Trump's or Hunter Biden's attempts to cash in on his father's name. But even if we take all of that at face value, let's take everything that Joe Kernan believes about Hunter Biden at face value. What Trump is doing is orders of magnitude worse. So what about Hunter Biden gets you nowhere, because at the end of the day, your guy is still 10 times worse.
Then I remember the Clinton Foundation, which Hillary was going to be president. So everyone was giving money for access eventually. So it's not identical. I know it's not the same thing, and it's suboptimal.
Do you see how he's stammering, and do you hear the silence as his three co-hosts stare at him? It's like, bro, you lose. You lose the corruption debate. If you're a Trump supporter, you've lost on the merits. Your guy is objectively more corrupt than any Democrat ever, perhaps all Democrats combined. Bob Menendez, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton. Think of all the Democrats that are either objectively corrupt or that you believe to be corrupt, and put them in aggregate. And Donald Trump is still worse. And he knows it. He's smart enough to recognize it on some level, but he's embarrassed. He is obviously humiliated at how much he's gone to bat for Donald Trump all this time. And by the way, Hillary Clinton was supposed to be president, except she never became president, asshole. So it's still nowhere near as bad.
Identical. I know it's not the same thing, and it's suboptimal. It kind of smells to high heaven. I'm not saying it doesn't. So I'm trying to diffuse any.
Look at Andrew Ross Sorkin's face there. He's just like, bro.
Pushback. Do you have a better word than suboptimal for what this is?
It is worse than suboptimal. I think. Look, as you know, I have lots of issues with how the foundation worked and all of those things.
I didn't know you had lots of issues.
I've said it on the show a million times, but that money was not going to their pockets.
Kind of.
Yeah, it just wasn't. This is not the same as a campaign fundraiser. And again, Joe Kernan knows this. That's why you can just see it on his face. You can hear it in his voice. He's embarrassed, and he should be. because this was predictable. Donald Trump is not Emperor Palpatine from the Star Wars prequels, pretending to be one thing convincingly while actually being something totally different. He is transparently, nakedly corrupt. You know, kind of like we know, it's funny, people talk about President Biden's mental fitness, and they're like, it was obvious. Donald Trump's corruption was painfully obvious to anybody paying attention. If you're surprised by the level of corruption, you weren't paying attention. So let's get into the new disturbing details that we're learning about this crypto dinner, many of whom, in terms of the attendees, we don't know. All right, but we are learning some crucial new information.
White House. So, Jeff, how is the White House privately? We saw the public stance, but privately, behind the scenes, how do they view Trump attending this dinner?
Aaron, there are people here at the White House and certainly close advisors and admirers of the president who are uncomfortable by this. I mean, you saw the Wall Street Journal's report saying Eric Trump, the president's son, was. I heard that echoed and amplified in conversations we had throughout the day.
So even people in the Trump administration are uncomfortable with this. Now, they won't do it publicly because they're probably terrified of Donald Trump to admit this. But it says something that even in the most objectively corrupt presidency we've ever seen, certainly in the history of this country, that even they're like, damn, dude, you are like going way too far with it. Here's some other disturbing details we're learning, which further prove the objective corruption.
Able to learn anything about who is attending this dinner?
Aaron, we have been doing our very best. It has been incredibly difficult to obtain very much information about who is attending the dinner. We know that there are a lot of crypto enthusiasts and crypto entrepreneurs who have bought their way in, obviously to curry favor and to sort of push a crypto agenda to the president. And then we know for a fact that a lot of these individuals are foreign nationals. And we know that because they hold crypto wallets that are tied to exchanges that do not work with U.S. customers. So you have to ask, of all of those foreign nationals, who are they? And what do they want tonight with the president?
All right, so Dan, to that point, let me just ask a really basic question, because I think to many people, myself included, the whole concept of crypto is very, very confusing, to say the least, okay? Is there any value to the meme coin, the Trump meme coin, beyond access to Trump, okay, that would justify the staggering amounts of money that are being spent to buy it?
No, not at all. I mean, I think ultimately this is really a gateway to what's really a new crypto world, right? I mean, if you look at the deregulatory environment that's happening in crypto and obviously under the Trump administration, I think that's how this is being viewed. It's about access, and this is starting what we're seeing. Look, this is, in terms of crypto, it's a new age under Trump in terms of deregulatory, and everyone wants a seat at the table.
So, when you looked at what many of the attendees have done with their Trump coins since they won a spot at the dinner, right? Because to win a spot, like I said, top 25 holders will get this. So then they're buying and buying and buying. And by the way, it is the transaction fees then that can go to Trump. So what did you find about what they've done with their Trump coins?
So the contest to attend the dinner closed on May 12th. Basically, immediately after those seats were secured, token holders started dumping their Trump coin, right? So they essentially, they used it for what they needed it for. Obviously, there is no, extended value to holding these tokens. So they got rid of them. I mean, Wired found that around half of those individuals who won a place at this dinner subsequently dumped their Trump coin.
It is now fact. I mean, it was fact from the beginning, but the evidence continues to mount. These people bought this shit to have FaceTime with Donald Trump and to try to influence and pressure him in terms of policy outcomes that they prefer. Otherwise, they would have kept the damn coin if they thought it had some sort of inherent value, or if it's had some sort of personal value to them. It was purely transactional in the most cynical, corrupt way. Republicans won't care because it's not about principle, it's about outcome. Democrats have to get serious about this. And listen, it's tough. It is embarrassingly tough that stories of corruption, particularly Republican corruption, are things that we are so immune by. Some preliminary data indicates, at least in terms of focus groups, that voters are not persuaded by Trump's corruption. Again, that's an indictment of the American people. I can say that because I'm not running for office. If you're an American citizen, but you don't give a shit about the corruption of your politicians, Democrat or Republican, you have a problem. You have a problem. But that's the world in which we live, and we can't snap our fingers and change it. So Democrats have to deal with the fact that this is a problem for them. That something which should objectively matter to people in certain contexts doesn't matter, and these contexts tend to benefit Trump. It's sad that we live in a world where the American people are more familiar with the garden variety nepotism, again, which you can absolutely be disgusted by, feel free. But the garden variety nepotism of Hunter Biden, which is pedestrian by comparison, and objectively nowhere near as bad in terms of scale, severity, magnitude. Hunter Biden wasn't president. Donald Trump is and should be held to an infinitely higher moral standard. So no matter how you slice it, what Trump is doing is worse. It's sad that we live in a world where more people know about, Hunter Biden corrupt, and probably think that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are comparably corrupt, when it should be, people should understand it to be vastly worse for Trump. This is the environment that Democrats have to operate in, and they have to play the hand they're dealt, no matter how shitty, to the best of their ability. They have to shout it from the rooftops persuasively in as many combination of words as possible and from multiple voices. It can't just be Chris Murphy. It can't just be Bernie Sanders. It can't just be Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer. It's got to be AOC. It's got to be Jasmine Crockett. It's got to be Jamie Raskin. It's got to be Democratic senators as well. It's got to be John Ossoff. It's got to be Raphael Warnock. Everybody needs to be talking about this and tying it to the pain that the American people feel personally. While Donald Trump is looking to take Medicaid or rip it away from 14 million Americans, as well as Obamacare as well, while he's looking to do that and to cut food assistance and shift the tax burden further to poor and middle-class Americans, while he's trying to make it harder for you, he, the most powerful man on earth, the most privileged man on earth, is looking to enrich his power and his privilege even further. Make the connection and be loud and be consistent and do it everywhere. Go on Flagrant's podcast. Go on every friggin' medium you possibly can, including Fox News, and shout it at the camera. This is a big deal objectively, and Americans have to be shown to care about it and taught to care about it. Don't assume they will. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.